it is what it is. I am what I am. You get what you get. That's why I said somebody fucked up when they gave me 150,000 subscribers. Susan Wojcicki gonna find out that gonna be fired tomorrow. I did a live with this. I was like, yo, who did this? I don't know who did it.
I had the same thought when my other channel got remonetized recently, and I was like, "Oh, dude, somebody's getting fired. Oh, I feel bad." Like, you know what I mean? Like, this poor fuck's gonna be having to sit in an office and go, "I didn't know. I didn't know. I saw videos. He was, I don't know, playing music. He was playing video games. He was reading chat comments. He seemed pretty normal. I didn't realize he was who you say he is."
Are you worried about getting kicked off of YouTube? Because I mean, the stuff you say, I mean, I got to be honest, and that's why we like it. You respect it. It's wild. Like you say.
Yeah. Sometimes people will go play the new Barricade Garage, and I'm like, I gotta watch it first. I gotta, I want to toe a line here. It's true. I don't want to lose my super chat.
I get it. I get it, but I mean, that's why I still work. I'm a working man. I'm a working man.
Mm-hmm.
I work for a living. I work with my hands. That's what I do. This was always just a side hustle, a hobby. I never really put too much emotion behind it until I started getting big. Then the shit, nigga, checks started coming in. A lot of people don't like talking about their YouTube checks. Them shits look good when you first start getting them, and you kind of want to get in line. You kind of want to get in mainstream when you start making like fucking 15, 20,000 a month doing some shit. But I mean, not all money is good money. I got morals and shit. Like, I'm not just about to sit here like that Ryan Long shit. I could have been a hardcore conservative. I could have did shit that I didn't even believe in just to do the shit, make a video, put a video out on it, and make money. Right now, it's a lot of content with Joe Biden in office. I could be talking about this shit all goddamn day and kill a game. But I'd rather talk about other stuff, like who's running shit. I don't want to talk about the puppets. I want to talk about the puppet masters. And I feel like that's what sets me apart from the rest.
I mean, look, man, I agree. It's true because I catch myself. You become conditioned, right? And sometimes you go, wow, this conditioning's working. It works on me. And I really try my best not to, where things that 10 years ago that if somebody would have said, I'd be like, oh, that's fucking hilarious. Now you're like, oh, I can't believe they said that. And I'm like, wait, why am I acting this way? What happened in 10 years, for example, that reprogrammed my mind to find this offensive? Because this just used to be funny. We used to just fucking joke around and nobody cared. But now you're like, oh, I can't believe he said that, and everyone's grasping at their pearls and stuff, and it's crazy. But like you say the people in charge, but it works, man. Even when you try for it not to work, if you get beat over the head enough, I have to catch myself going like, why am I what am I doing? Why am I covering my mouth and gasping? Who gives a shit?
Mm-hmm. It's true. That's why. Oh, I don't hate nobody neither. I'm not beating on. I'm not calling out nobody. I don't got beef with nobody. I don't do that. That's that nigga. They sons to me. I don't do that shit. But shout out to Ryan Long, Awaken with JP. Everybody else who everybody else finds funny. I'm not in it to be found funny. It's like I said. You don't gotta follow me. Don't follow me. Like don't put yourself in a position to where you have to backpedal on something that I might say later, because I'm not going to toe any particular party line. So that's why I can see why a lot of people wouldn't want to have me on their show, have me do an interview, because I might say something about you. Like, I had a subscriber, a lot of them when they was like, yo, go on Brandon Tatum show. Go on, he the cop. I'm going Brandon Tatum show. And I'm like, you're not going to want me on that motherfucker, because, we don't. So
yeah.
So we're not going to see like a heel turn in a year. You're not going to be like wearing a suit on Tim Pool's show, being like, "Look, I'm all for free speech, but it does have consequences." Look, I agree. And they're just sitting there all just like talking, talking about selling food buckets and shit.
Coming up next on Tim Pool, we have Barricade Garage Stein. He's coming up to tell us about.
By the way, real shit. Tim Pool, like when the COVID shit first started, right? Like we were one of the only shows that we were catching a lot of shit from people for going like, look, I understand if you want to take precautions for your health, I understand that, but like, you can't lock down a whole country for a virus. This is unprecedented. We can't do this. And everybody called us irresponsible and dangerous. Tim Pool had the same exact take at first. He was like, we can't do that. We have civil liberties. We have a constitution. You can't just lock people down for a virus. Then he got both us and Tim Pool got approached at the same time by My Patriot Food Supply. And you remember the meeting we had, the guy goes, oh, this COVID thing, it's red hot. We can't even keep stock of all these food buckets. They're flying off the shelves. Just use the COVID angle. And we were like, yeah, we'll get back to you. And then we just never signed. A week later, Tim Pool's like, look, Trump is signing executive orders. We're going to have martial law. This virus is going to kill 30 billion people. And you look, My Patriot Supply right now, they have it. It's like, and I was going, oh my God, like within a week, he just was like full-blown food bucket prepper guy. And I'm like, Tim, a week ago you had a way more nuanced approach like we did.
It changes people, but it's like he was saying, like you get that check, you get that money coming in every month. You start going like, oh, this is great. Oh, so see, I think when a lot of people sacrifice their principles and sacrifice their morals, it doesn't happen in one, like it's not like night and day. It's not a 180. It's little by little, right? It's like, okay, so I just won't mention this. Okay, so I just won't mention that. And then a year, 2 years down the road, you're a completely different person.
Right. Like a lot of people see that money and it gets good. And then they provide a market. The people provide a market for counterculture, somebody to counter what the media is saying. And people need to fill that void, so they step up and they see the money is good. And they keep doing it, even though, that's not something they necessarily believe in, or that may not be the direction they want to take their show or channel. They'll do it because the check is good. And before you know it, now you have this conservative figure who's not really a conservative that rebranded himself with conservative values, even though that's not really him, because the money's good. Now he has a conservative following, and he really can't turn around now. So we just got to keep going forward. And I guess that's how you say when people you get a lot of grifters and shit like that. And
yeah, it
like
happens.
That.
Yeah, and so what happens is also it's like YouTube, man. YouTube used to be wild back in the day, right? You used to come on YouTube and you could fucking Alex Jones screaming about they're taking over the country and stuff like that. And now you come on YouTube and it's just curated and like it's an NBC report or it's Fauci talking about something. It's like, man, to find anything even worth a shit, you got to dig. And the problem is you don't get these. You're not going to get any free thinking big channels anymore, because once you get to a certain point and that's the downside with like YouTube or any of these things. Once you get on the radar, they go, okay, we got to stop this. And then you get shadow banned and then they don't push you anymore and they kick you out of the algorithm. And I don't know, Mike, what's, I know you said this, you're a working man. You got, if this goes away tomorrow, you're going to be fine. But a lot of people put all their eggs in one basket and they're going to find themselves without anything. To me, it's not even about the money. To me, it's about, man, there's no more, you can't talk about anything. You can't joke about anything. There's no more ideas you can get out there anymore. You can't even, and I'm not one of those like, facts don't care about your feelings, folks. Like, I don't care about that shit. But what I'm talking about is like, just fucking talking about anything, joking about anything. You're not allowed to do that shit anymore. Well, I guess they make you believe you're not allowed to. But I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, well, it's not against the Constitution. You're allowed to say what you want, but then you can't take out a bank loan or have a credit card, you know?
Or they pull your merchant services because you're on the match list.
Yeah.
That was the other thing.
Right.
Like they now have banks. This happened to a friend of ours, Dick Masterson. He had like a Patreon alternative. And MasterCard just put him on this thing called the Match List, which was part of Operation Choke Point, which was part of the Patriot Act, which was a way to cut off funding to Islamic terrorists. But, of course, it's a loophole that's gotten abused. So they basically he just one day got an email, and the bank was like, we can't process credit cards for you anymore. We can't do merchant services for you. You're on this Match List. And he's like, okay, and then he did his research, and then he went and found some shady, like, Chinese credit union in L.A. Like, there was, like, some small family-owned Chinese credit union, and at first they were like, okay, yeah, we take it, it's fine. And but then, like, after about 3 or 4 weeks, the Chinese credit union was like, look, I don't know what the fuck you did to MasterCard, bro, but we can't process credit. We're not going to lose. If we have to choose between Dick Masterson or MasterCard, sorry, buddy, you're gone. And that's some shit they really do. And Dick's not exactly, I wouldn't exactly call him a goose-stepping white supremacist. He's a comedy guy. He's like Oz. He does comedy stuff. But that's it, man. They put you on a list, bro, and you're fucking not. Forget YouTube not paying you. We're talking fucking banks telling you we can't let you open an account here. That's scary shit.
Yeah, it's actually people that die behind telling the truth. Sometimes the last thing you're worried about is being canceled. But you just got to be focused. Sometimes if you focus and you hone in on your craft, the audience you build over here, they'll follow you anywhere. So now you got a small following. Sometimes when you ban people, it just makes them bigger. I mean, we witnessed this with gangs with Larry Hoover and the Gangster Disciples in Chicago. Sometimes when you take people out, it's like regime change almost. It's like when you take people out, sometimes they'll put somebody else in that spot. But I mean, if you don't have nobody to fill that void, then shit gonna fall into chaos. And the very thing you was trying to censor is only going to get bigger somewhere else. That's why I said the best way to meet unpopular ideas is head on and let the culture figure out, hey, we don't want these people saying this, or we don't want these people saying that. Same thing with masks. They didn't make you wear a mask. They didn't force you to wear a mask. They didn't put a gun to your head and say, yo, you got to wear this shit. You got shamed. And that's what we used to do back in the day to get people to act right. We used to shame you. If you had a little son, little boy walking around, thought he was a girl, hands on his hip and shit, you be like, cut that shit out. The fuck are you doing? You get mad at the dad. Hey, the fuck is that? The fuck is going on?
That's like the Dwayne Wade. That's why the Dwayne Wade thing, man. The Dwayne Wade thing to me is hilarious because Dwayne Wade, he didn't play any of that shit, man. Coming, and then all of a sudden now he has a trans kid, and it's like, hey, don't talk about my daughter that way.
That's why I love Lil Boosie. Lil Boosie's my. Don't cut his dick off, man. Come on, he a little boy, man. Let him be gay. Like the whole video, and he's red eyes. He's so fucked up in the video. It's like 3 a.m, and he's going, "Come on, man, don't cut the boy
Boosie
dick off, man."
What Boosie said, what a lot of us was thinking. We just didn't have the balls to say it. Not we, but we didn't have the balls to say it. We know that's some bullshit. We know you don't do that shit to a child. You're supposed to raise them up in the way they go. Teach them.
Yeah, because what's Barry Weiss going to do to Lil Boosie? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like Barry Weiss or Lindy West is going to write a blog about Lil Boosie and all of a sudden everybody's going to turn on him.
Yeah, you know who
so
else?
He's the perfect guy to say it. It's
who else is not going to have balls? Dwayne Wade's kid if he keeps going this way.
It's not. And that's just fucking sad. Mm-hmm. But the parents, they love that shit because they get the attention for it. Mm-hmm. And the culture has shifted over there out in Hollywood. Is such that when you do shit like that, you get recognition and hand claps from your Hollywood peers. They, he's a fucking, just like that other bitch. What the bitch name? January Jones, Angelina Jolie.
Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Charlize Theron. She got the son that she adopted from Africa. Got him walking around, goddamn drug looking all stupid and shit. Like, yo, is she getting hand claps from Angelina Jolie? She getting all types of accolades and shit. So now it makes you feel good. Now you want to fuck up more kids. Now you're doing this shit, pushing this agenda on the kids to satisfy your fucked up self. And people will do it because they get praised for doing it. If you didn't get praised for doing it, a lot of these people wouldn't be doing this.
I'm still convinced the Dwayne Wade's kid thing is just it's like a secret plot to get the WNBA ratings up.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Figure he'll go play there, and people will finally want to watch that horse shit.
That'll never happen.
We were. You want to see Dwayne Wade's son just dunking on people and playing for the Liberty?
I don't want to see it.
We were at a bar. Merch and I were at a bar, and they had like the female Final Four on because I don't know, they wanted us to kill ourselves, and we were watching it, and it was like fucking halftime, and the score was like 10-23, and I'm like, holy shit! Why the fuck did they even allow this?
Get the scores up.
Yeah. So all right. So let's ask you. What do you watch? Like what besides anime? Because I already heard your Dragon Ball reference. What do you watch on TV. Do you watch anything, or have you tapped out from all of it?
Nah, I tapped out from all of it. Like right now, I just took like a week off from like anything mainstream media. Usually what I'll do is to try to find material is I'll go look at the news, see who the fuck to make fun of. Then I was like, so I just cut myself off, and you feel freer, you feel better, but it's like, damn, it's like, what do I talk about? And that's another thing about comedians. If all you can talk about is woke shit or making fun of woke shit, it's like,
yeah.
If the woke shit goes away, who are you? So I used to make skits on like little stupid shit on my King Vader, Caleb City, Long Beach Griffey shit. Like that's the type of shit I like. I don't like all that political shit because that shit gets monotonous, it gets boring, and it's fucking downright depressing. Like I watched an Awaken with JP video. I watch people. I'm all over these YouTube streets. Mm-hmm. I watched his last video. He just repeated verbatim in that guidance counselor style voice. It's almost like it's almost like neuro-linguistic programming or some shit. It's like my fucking guidance counselor used to call me to the office and shit and just sit there and talk to me in this kind of voice and talk to me like this and really not be saying shit, just parroting what the fuck leftist media is saying. And then people are like, oh, that's so fucking funny. Fucking. And it's like, it's fucking depression though. Like, you know, but I mean, and I really don't watch anime. I just grew up watching Dragon Ball Z because I used to beat people up and shit. And I remember when I was 7, I used to try to power up like Goku and shit. When you start me rumbling with Vegeta and shit, and I used to go to school and thought I was Goku and shit. But man, like that's why I bring up Dragon. I really don't watch that anime shit like that for real. So people be asking me questions I really don't know. I don't want to seem fake or nothing. I don't really watch that shit. Dragon Ball Z. But,
it's funny you brought up that because we mentioned on this show too. It's like the people that they're in the last 4 years there are people that have become their entire career is based on making fun of Trump, right? Like, for example, it's like that's all they Mike points this out, and Mike pointed this out to me, and I thought it was amazing. Merce pointed it out to me. It's like there's verified people on Twitter that their entire life was being the #1 comment under one of Trump's tweets.
Yeah,
like that was your career.
Now he's gone, so you're just staring into the void now.
And then, so what you're finding is it's like once you take away somebody's supervillain, they don't have anything anymore. It's like you've taken it away from them. So now, okay, let's go see you. Go be funny now without Trump. What do you got? And they can't because that's all they have. That's what happened with like Sarah Silverman. I don't know if you saw what Sarah Silverman did. Like Sarah Silverman for 4 years was just making fun of Trump. And like a couple weeks ago, she made a video saying like, I'm really tired of both political sides. My own side's holding me down. And it's like, yeah, now it is. Now because you don't have evil orange man to make fun of. And I agree with you because there's a lot of people that make their entire thing about, oh, look how terrible SJWs are and woke is. Crowder, for example. And when you take that out of it, it's like, can you go look at Dave Rubin's stand-up before he became a political commentator. It's one of the worst things you'll ever see.
Did they do Dave Rubin?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a video he did from like 10, 15 years ago when comics was still open.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
He did some like gay themed stand-up show where it was all gay.
Right, it was gay comics in town or something.
And it was
like that.
He was hosting, and everything he said was like, any gay people here? I'm gay. Anyone gay? Yeah, but it bothers you that I'm gay. And it's like the whole crowd's gay. Everyone on the bill is gay. Is all you have is gay material? Because like, I just think it's weird. Like if you're going to go in front of a crowd that's going to be very homogenous, the last thing I would want to do is just like material about that group. It's like, you just spent all week being these people. Am I going to just talk about, like, you know what I mean? If I had a white conservative crowd and I go do comedy, I'm not going to just start doing a bunch of, like, how cool is Trump jokes. Because it's like, you guys have all been hanging out and sucking each other, sucking Trump's dick in Facebook groups all week. Why would you want to pay a 2-drink minimum and come in here and hear me, listen to me suck Trump's dick? So it's like, I would try to mix it up a little bit. But yeah, everything he did was like, gay. Huh? Gay, am I right? Man, it's crazy being gay. And everybody's like, okay, I guess. Man.
And now what he does is like, I'm gay and conservative. I bet that bothers you liberals. I'm like, no, what bothers me is that you're not talented. I don't care what dicks you put in your mouth.
I think
don't
what bothers me about Dave Rubin is he very clearly has one of those. Have you ever seen the things they advertised in the infomercials?
Oh, the bald things.
You tape to the front of your head and then you comb it over and you fill in the front of the hair. Dave Rubin, I put all the I think I have like $230 in cash on me right now. I'll put it all up right now on Dave
With
Rubin.
the fucking toupee, the comb over shit.
Yeah, but not a full toupee. They had these things on the infomercials where it just went along the
glues
front,
on the front
like
of your
front
hairline.
strip of your head, and it adds to your hair, and then you comb it over. I remember seeing those on TV and being like, these are ridiculous. But Dave Rubin was bald, and then now he has this perfect, I don't know, man, it's like stitching or something.
You have exactly $230 on you, which means I know you're going to buy weed. If you have that much cash on you,
I don't know why you have to like fucking just throw.
I know that's exactly no, but that amount of money is I'm gonna buy an ounce of weed money.
Okay, I paid my rent yesterday. I'm going to get some. All right, you know, you don't have to. Come on, man. By the way, the show might be late later tonight. I'm just letting you know.
Why?
On a completely unrelated
Oh, it's not
note.
because you're gonna go buy
We might
weed?
be starting at 10:30 tonight.
You're such.
But that's the other thing about conservatives too that I ain't get around to talking about. They'll often have, when the liberals get so aggressive, the left gets so aggressive, the right has a need to counterpunch that. So what I seen happen when Trump got in office was a lot of black conservatives just started popping up out of nowhere. And what the Conservative Party did, what the Republicans did, was prop up a lot of black conservatives to be like, oh, look, well, y'all saying this about us. Look, we got this. We got this. And they put him on and go get, we got this. We got Keisha too. No, ain't no fucking name. We got Keisha too. And it's like they prop up people to counter what the left has to say about them. So I feel like that party is reactionary.
Well,
it's like that minstrel show, Diamond and Silk, where I'm like, what are you doing, guys? Come on.
Do you know the whole story behind Candace Owens? Like her whole origin story?
No, I mean just the basics. She was a leftist. She wanted
to start a doxing website a few years ago. She wanted to team up with the girl from Gamergate to start a website where all of your online stuff that was anonymous would be logged, cataloged, and then they put your real name, and they would have these profiles on this website where they could track all the shit you're doing online and connect it to all your anonymous accounts. Social Autopsy, it was called.
Social Autopsy, yeah.
And it was a total website where she wanted to just dox people for saying mean words on the internet. And then she started making Turning Point USA money, and she's like, hey, man, free speech. And you're like, wait, what? You wanted to run a website where I had people's name. You wanted to basically run like a internet Schindler's List. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? Now you're a conservative. Okay, I guess, whatever. People go where the money goes, man.
Yeah, they go where the money goes. She went from PragerU to fucking Shapiro, working with Shapiro and shit. Like,
God, man, Shapiro's one of them that, you know, he probably is up there with one of them that bothers me the most in terms of how he sways. Like, you know, he's supposed to be a libertarian, but we played a video of him the other day where he's like, okay, folks, but forced vaccinations are great. Forced vaccinations are amazing, and everybody should get them because I'm a libertarian, but I'm going to do mental gymnastics to tell you why. It's almost like he's getting orders, you know? Almost.
They do.
They go to the secret Bilderberg meetings and get their orders.
Yeah, you definitely have orders. You definitely have to fall in line. You can't be an individual to the point where it hurts the person that's sponsoring you, paying for shit, or the person that gave you their platform. And then you develop a sense of loyalty to that said person or entity. Now you have to act like this when you used to act like that. And people see the difference. But, you know, when you start making money like that, you don't care.
No, that's a good point. And look, yeah, you're right. Once you're buying a beach house, you know what I mean? You're buying a beach house and you have a nice car and you're in that nice tax bracket where you're that high tax bracket where you don't pay taxes anymore because you have all the write-offs. why even have any morals? Why even have anything? Like, you know, the Shapiro Show is a great example. It's a 45-minute show, and it has like 7 ads in it. And I mean, I've heard him do ads for things where it's like, okay, folks, let's talk about food buckets. I can't eat it because you know I'm a Jew and it's not kosher, but you know the rest of you people should eat it. And when you hear stuff like that, you're like, man, this guy doesn't hold true to anything.
Yeah, Shapiro's doing fucking live reads for shellfish, fucking alcohol.
For bacon.
Wait a minute, what is going on here? This is Ben Shapiro for the BDS movement. Folks, let me tell you something. You're going, wait, what? It's like, I'll take money from anybody. I don't care.
Oh man, but you know, man, we honestly got to tell you, I don't remember what the first video was that we found of yours, but I mean, it was. When we started, we're like, man, you know, and then we like, oh, he's funny. And then when you got wild with some of them, that's our genuine reactions when we saw them. We were like, Jesus Christ, man. And we're like, honestly, in a way, like you said, like there is a form. And I'll be honest, if you're like jealous, you're like, man, we can't get away with saying that. We get kicked off of this platform in a heartbeat. But it's refreshing to be able to see somebody actually saying it and some people actually, you know, listening to what the real problem is instead of like, this divide and conquer. You know, they want everybody at their throats, right? Because if everyone's fighting with each other, no one's looking up and going like, wait a second, who's that guy up there that's laughing at all this, you know?
I will say nothing shocks me, but you have definitely said some things and phrased some things in a way where you know where you do that move where you look behind you?
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you're alone in a room and you're watching a video, he said some shit where I'm like,
oh shit.
Okay, okay. I gotta get up, just walk around the room real quick.
What I say is basic as hell. That's what people used to be able to like. I'm not saying nothing outlandish. It's just that's how soft core in kindergarten everything is gotten.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not really saying nothing that's too wild out there. It's just that's how kindergarten everything is gotten.
It's you're right, and I mean. I don't know, man. Like, what can we do outside of just telling people to be themselves and being, you know, morally strong? Like, what can you do? Because like for some people, it's easy to be like, hey man, be yourself, say whatever you want. But like Mike brought up earlier, it's like, man, if you got a family and stuff, and you have kids, and they tell you, hey, you can't have a credit card or get a loan anymore. It's like, how are you allowed to even be yourself anymore if they're gonna take your livelihood away? You know?
See, that's the thing about it. And when people give a scenario like that, it's hard to actually believe people in the past was faced with that same opportunity decision they had to make on the well-being of their family. Mm-hmm. And some people chose death. Some people said slavery is a choice, and they chose death. The more people that die for your cause is sometimes the only way to win. I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but I'll go back to 300. I know we talking about like freedom of speech and shit, but it still applies. I'll take it back to 300. King Leonidas, he took an army of 300 people. He knew he was going to lead them to the slaughter, but he needed to provoke the Spartan government, not the government, but the council, to allow them to release the full Spartan army. So he took them knowing he would die, because once you kill a king, it's automatic war. So he can release the full Spartan army on the Persians, and we can crush it. So he sacrificed himself. Some people, when it comes to freedom, they can't fathom anything being more valuable than their life.
Right.
But if freedom is, then your life is one small sacrifice to pay for your kids and your countrymen to be able to have that freedom. You see what I'm saying? It's the same thing with freedom of speech. And this is why I lose hope in humanity every day, because a lot of people have jobs. A lot of people have to make money to support, feed, and clothe their family. It's a lot of men out here. They have to work. They got to support the woman. They got a car that needs fixing. So they won't do anything too aggressive. They'll act like it, but they won't do anything too aggressive towards the beast system that's imposing these restrictions on their life. They'll say it, but they won't do anything. In order to actually get somewhere, sometimes you have to do something. The more people that do something, the less the fuck shit occurs. Like, these people are human. People call them elite, call them a machine, but these people are still human. They bleed like you bleed, put their pants on like you put your pants on. They got corporations. Who gives a fuck? They in it for money. If enough people was like, nah, I'm done with this shit, they gonna switch up. Culture can change overnight. We've seen it happen. The thing is, a lot of people don't value freedom over their life. And that's America's downfall. Forgot who you were.
Yeah, we've become too comfortable. I mean, when it really is kind of like that when we're the only country that has poor fat people, you get to the point where you're like, we have it so easy where it's and look, I'll admit, man, it's tough to give up the cushy lifestyle, right? Like it's tough to be like, do I really want to actually put yourself out there? I mean, like I said, during the revolution, like we started a war over like a 2% tax increase. We burned it down. We sent kids to die over much less than what they're doing to us now. Much less.
Right.
And at the end, it's like, how much are you willing to sacrifice? And I think we all become a little bit guilty of being like, do I really want to go do this? Do I really want to go defend what I believe? Or do I just want to be comfortable? And at the end, man, it trickles down. And then, 20 years from now, we're all going to be, I don't know, man. I mean, we're kind of already slaves, right? I mean, to what we could say or what we could do. And I don't know where it's going to end. Look, man, we're coming up towards the end of the show, but man, we got to have a part 2. This was great. I mean, I had a great
man.
time.
Thanks for finally coming on, man. Like I said, going back to like when he left that comment on my page one day, and I was just like, oh shit! I'm like, this guy rules. Like, I was actually excited. So I'm glad we managed to work this out.
It's Barricade Garage on YouTube. Everyone subscribe. I mean, he does fucking hilarious videos. Above all else, you're fucking hilarious.
Our channel's like a third, like a tenth.
I know, right? Our channel.
We're like, we're gonna give him the old ROTC
ROTC
bump.
push. Man, thanks for being on, man.
Thanks
we really
for slumming
appreciate
it with us, man.
Man, I appreciate y'all, man. Shout out to y'all, both of y'all. Y'all keep doing what y'all do.
Appreciate it, man. Take it easy. See ya.
Yep.
That was fun, man.
Yeah, that was great. He was fantastic. What a great guest.
Yeah, he was great, man. So make sure you guys support him.
Yeah.
Make sure you keep up with him so that when he inevitably gets nuked from YouTube,
it's gonna happen
somewhere else.